So Blackmagic RAW landing on Sony cinema bodies could definitely reshape a lot of workflows, but there's also movement on some Sigma fast primes. We've got some discounts on Sony gear that I find relatively questionable, and we've got some real chatter around the A7V. I'm gonna break down what's real, we're gonna talk about what's rumored, and then we're gonna talk about what actually matters. So let's just jump in. So Blackmagic RAW is a format that claims to be the world's fastest, and it's about to land on some key Sony FX cameras, but the timing looks like it's coming pretty soon. Now, according to Petapixel, Blackmagic RAW is going to be arriving soon for the Sony FX3 and the FX30 via a firmware update for the Blackmagic Video Assist monitors, with the FX6 and the FX9 slated to follow before the end of the year. Blackmagic Design describes Blackmagic RAW as a high-quality RAW video format with strong bit depth and dynamic range built around an advanced demosaic algorithm. Say that 5 times fast. And that delivers visually lossless results at high resolutions, high frame rates, and in HDR workflows. It's optimized for GPU and CPU acceleration, carries extensive metadata, and integrates seamlessly with DaVinci Resolve, shocker, made by Blackmagic. It's also open source, cross-platform, and free via an SDK for macOS, Windows, and Linux. Compared to more typical non-RAW video formats, Blackmagic RAW avoids compression artifacts, promises reduced noise and improved detail and color while recording camera metadata for post. Recording is enabled through the Blackmagic Video Assist Professional Monitor and Recorder series and includes in the 7-inch 12G HDR model, which is priced at $915. Now, with these monitors, Blackmagic RAW is already supported on cameras from Canon, Fuji, Leica, Nikon, Panasonic, Sigma, and Zcam. And for Sony shooters, Blackmagic has showcased a working beta of the upcoming Video Assistant firmware at IBC 2025 last month, with a public announcement appearing on schedule for this month for the FX3 and the FX30, with the FX6 and the FX9 coming before the end of the year. It's been a long stretch for format support overall. DaVinci Resolve also recently just added ProRes RAW support. So if you're on the FX3 or the FX30 with a Video Assist in your rig, this month could bring you Blackmagic RAW capture, with the FX6 and the FX9 owners looking at the end of the year. I'll take a look at the rollout timing, keep you posted as firmware drops. But next, let's talk about some fast primes and some savings. So Sigma might have some fast glass in the pipeline, and there are some tangible discounts available for Sony users as part of Amazon's Prime Days, which this video might actually miss, so I apologize for that. I've been busy, okay? According to Sony Addict and Sony Alpha Rumors, Sigma has filed patents covering 35, 50, and 85mm lenses with fast f1.2 and f1.4 apertures. Patents aren't always product announcements, but they do point to active optical designs being in development for these 3 classic focal lengths. Now, on the Prime deals front, I'm gonna skip the big loadout of all the gear and all the prices and all the things, because to be quite honest, I haven't had time to put together a big video for that. So I'm gonna point to some videos from some of my friends who I think have done a phenomenal job to put that together. Take a look at theirs, use their affiliate links, help them out. But what I wanna specifically talk about is an update for Sony in the US, because they've cut prices by $500. Now, I don't know if that's just for Prime Days or this week or what, but there's a bunch of rebates right now. And those price drops basically bring Sony prices back to where they were about a month ago. And that's great, good to see it, except I think honestly, a lot of the camera manufacturers, maybe Sony included, saw the run up to the tariffs hitting and the price increases hitting and all the kind of flurry of purchases that they got, and then everything kind of stopped. And the SEPA numbers have clearly indicated that there's been a dip, and actually it's the biggest dip between July and August that we've seen in 2 or 3 years. Because for the rest of the year, and especially through the summer, camera sales have been going like gangbusters. And my argument has been, it's going like gangbusters because we all know the prices are about to go up, if not again and more. And also I made some investments, which I'm notoriously cheap, and I actually bought some new gear and a lens and some stuff that I wouldn't normally have bought until next year. But I'm honestly nervous that the prices are going to be super high, and so I made this purchase. And I think a lot of people are making those same types of purchases, and then I think they paused. I think they got everything they needed before the prices went up in September, and now suddenly we're seeing this drop. And so I think companies are just going like, oh no, quick, give them a coupon. But the coupon really just brings it back to where it was before. So it's between $200 and $400 off, depending on the camera that you buy. So current discounts are bringing Sony bodies back to pre-September pricing, and Sigma looks like it's prioritizing some prime lenses that I'm excited about. And the next update that we're going to talk about is a very closely watched camera that we've talked about here on the channel before. We've done some videos about it, and I want to get kind of deep into it and the sensor questions, but I want to give you a quick note before we get into that. So you might have noticed that I've been doing mid-video shout outs for memberships, but then I kind of stopped. And that's intentional. So I have a small group of incredibly supportive channel members. Thank you so much, all of you, for your support. But YouTube revenue can kind of be all over the place. But this isn't a plug for membership. I just want to let you know that August was one of my worst months on YouTube, but September was one of the best. Go figure. But YouTube is rolling out features that will let creators dynamically insert promos and sponsorships across multiple videos. And I've held off on baking in membership promos because I heard that this was coming. I heard about it in the summer. And once it's live, I plan to use it. And I want to keep things short, clean, and effective. But I'd love your thoughts on how to best present memberships, photo sessions, or maybe sponsorships and partnerships that I'm doing here in the channel. So let me know how you think I should do that. Drop a comment to let me know what's going to resonate best with you. I'm going to try really hard to make sure that there are chapter markers on all of my videos, including those sponsor breaks. So if you just want to skip them, go right ahead. But I can tell you right now that on the videos where I don't include them, or I don't include mention of other things, there's not a lot of action. And on the videos where I do, I get members. It works. Mentioning it, asking for memberships, asking for subscriptions and likes, asking for people to interact with me on social media here in my videos. As much as sometimes it can be annoying, it works. Now, hopefully YouTube will let me exclude these types of promos for my member-only videos. If there were a clean way to give members a completely ad and promo-free experience, I would do it in a heartbeat. So hopefully they come out with something like that, and I will do my best to incorporate it into future videos. All right, back to the video. So let's talk a little bit more about the rumored Sony A7V, what's being reported, what the timing looks like, and what kind of signals we're getting and how we're gonna read them. So according to multiple reports, I'm just gonna say multiple reports, there's lots of stuff out there, including a video that I did last week. The Sony A7V is about to get announced. We're expecting mid-November, with shipments starting Q1, around January or so, of 2026. Now, Indonesian certification has registered a new Sony camera. In fact, a number of certification agencies have shown that a new camera from Sony has been registered. And all of this aligns with a product that is moving towards a release. On the rumored spec side, several sources continue to point to a 33 megapixel sensor, the same resolution as the A7 IV, but it will be a tweaked sensor, potentially even a new partially stacked variant, but that distinction hasn't been confirmed. We do know that there will be a new AI chip being included in this camera, similar to the one in the A1, and the body is rumored to mirror that of the A7R5, including the 4-way fully articulating screen with the same controls. And pricing has pretty consistently been reported to be about $3,000. So timing-wise, sites like Photo Rumors are noting that Sony is promoting an alpha event in Barcelona on October 16th. That's in a week, and influencers have been invited. Now, the A7V announcement itself is still pointed to November in most of the reports, while the registration activity and the Q1 shipment window give a clearer sense of when units might actually reach buyers. For context, Photo Rumors also points out that the A7 IV was announced on October 21st, 2021. So what does this combination of details suggest? Let's wrap it all together. If the 33 megapixel sensor holds, then that means that Sony is going to continue with the resolution targeting balanced hybrid work. That makes sense, as that is traditionally where the A7 series has done well. Going with a body style similar to the A7R5 feels like a strong carryover on the ergonomics and usability of a package that a lot of shooters already know. The AI side of things is a little short on specifics, but it implies that processing geared towards recognition and subject detection. Again, details aren't specifically spelled out in the reporting, only the presence of the new chip may indicate that they are going to include features similar to that in the high-end Sony Alpha cameras, but maybe reduce them or limit them due to thermal constraints. Maybe we'll get binned versions of these AI chips, or maybe they'll just simply be software limited. But the ambiguity there makes the spec sheet and the performance as it relates to burst speed, video capability, and how well it's going to do when it comes to heat management pretty important if it's going to stay in that $3,000 range. So if the sensor holds at 33 megapixels, what features or performance would you want to see at that $3,000 price point? Let me know below in the comments. I'll keep track of the certification moves, the official dates, and if anything comes out after this October 16th event that we may expect to see in Barcelona. I'm sure there'll be a boatload of leaks after that. But if you want to see that, go ahead and get subscribed to the channel, or better yet, become a member. It's $1 to start. And if you're looking to book a photo or video session with me, all the details are down below, including all the links to the gear that I use and talk about in my videos. Those links do help the channel. Those are affiliate links. But as always, the easiest way to support the channel is just to hit like and subscribe. Those buttons are always free, and they actually go quite a bit to help me grow here on YouTube and on other channels. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.